Hello there. It's Josh Media Faulkner, and today we're going to be talking about the first two episodes, episode 1, part 1 and 2 of the Kenobi show, now on Disney+. Make sure to comment down below what you thought of the show with spoilers. And if you haven't watched the show already, be sure to click out of the video by checking out the spoiler-free short that I uploaded on my channel already. And with spoilers coming in, episode 1, part 1 and 2 is really impeccable. Just the way they brought out amazing performances, with Kenobi bringing out so emotional performance with the loss of what has all gone and the reminders of what he's gone, and just seeing the nightmares of the past, seeing Anakin and what they do with his characters, and remembering how he failed Anakin and what he's facing up against as he's trying to raise Luke. And then the way that they're going about with this show is really incredible. And it just personally, I just highly enjoyed the recap at the very beginning of episode 1, with the recap of the whole prequel trilogy that was organized really well for only being about 4 minutes long. And overall, just the performance of that, but also starting this show right off the bat with bringing the Inquisitors in sooner than I expected, and just giving them roles and characters that you can really digest right away, even if you haven't seen them from the previous Clone Wars or Rebels episodes. That I personally really enjoyed the Rebels show, and so seeing them here again, but seeing them built up in their own way, that I highly enjoy them in live action already for what they're being introduced as, makes it seem right. And having the third sister being that lone wolf type of character, where she's more arrogant and wanting to do her own thing because she's lower class than the others, and already is so sure that Obi-Wan is out there, but with the Grand Inquisitor and others not believing that much. I really love what they did with the third sister, making her be her own character and being right by her own means, that the others don't find out necessarily until the part 2 of episode 1. And just the way they go about with the fights and just the threatening the town, getting all the right beats that make you feel like the story is so much more believable, getting both sides, with Obi-Wan and being a character that's living as a hermit, believing he is right in letting go of his past, it having been 10 years since Order 66, and just letting go of his own ways and his own Jedi path, and also introducing this other Jedi on Tatooine that the Inquisitors find out about but don't capture right away. And that Jedi confronting Obi-Wan and finding out about Obi-Wan and how he's so let go of his past, makes it to be almost a Luke type of scenario, but in its own unique way, feeling so right and just justified with what he's going for and who he's believing himself to be, as he has to raise Luke, but also has to have fear of the Empire, being in hiding. And that's just what the Empire is supposed to express, is expressing fear not only on the towns and people throughout the galaxy, but also on the Jedi, who are specifically being hunted and have to face this trial as they are still remaining of those that are left alive. And overall, I really enjoyed what they were doing, introducing Leia Organa and some of her story as well, intermixing that story so well that I did not expect to see so much of her in the show, while not intruding or interrupting with this being Kenobi's show, as Bail Organa is now calling Obi-Wan and having to do this mission, and Obi-Wan finally deciding that he needs to do this. And just the way they do that, while still having only one brief scene of young Luke just through the binoculars, is something that really works well, surprisingly, so far. And we'll have to see how it goes about within the final episodes. But overall, only seeing a brief moment of Luke and so much more of Leia so far works to its own favor because it's still on its own means a Kenobi show, and we're getting all that we need of Kenobi as a Kenobi fan myself that I highly enjoy what we're going for. And as we move into part 2 of episode 1, it's just the way they're going into this new city and exploring something that it sets up the stakes of that city where it would be really difficult to find Leia. It would be really difficult to get off that island. And the way he gets to find Leia and just going about escaping the planet is right by his own means, and it makes sense exactly with the characters he's meet that doesn't feel convenient, besides little things where characters confront him right away about getting him to spice. That makes sense. And then the next character coming up that's associated with the other fake Jedi, that was a great twist altogether. And Kumail Nanjiani works so well as that character, just bringing humor. And whether he was a Jedi, which he isn't, I think that even would have worked well for being a Jedi character, bringing out some unique humor. But as he's not a real Jedi, I thought it was really unique sort of character to introduce and brought some humor that felt right for the Star Wars universe and natural to what you want from it. And of course, I know his general persona as an actor that I highly enjoy, Kumail Nanjiani. And it just works really well as this character within Star Wars and the way they go about tricking and doing these different things. But the adventurer, as he has to go about finding Leia, the different people he goes through, and then he's caught, but he gets the convenience of having that spice given to him, but it makes sense exactly at the right time he needs it. And I'm sure he may have found a way to get out of it either way, but with that spice, it works to his favor. And having the third sister being that arrogant character as well is still working to her own favor, being upset with others, and then the Grand Inquisitor and the fifth brother being upset with her for being on her own terms, and then Grand Inquisitor wanting to punish her after they're immediately trying to find Kenobi now and putting him on the hunt. And you feel the stakes as he's going throughout the city, just with what they're going for, and the Inquisitors hunting them, and the bounty hunters and other street fighters just wanting to go after Kenobi. And you get a little bit of the fight, but also Kenobi being the hiding where he's not always confronted by having to fight them the whole time. But ultimately, Kenobi's still not fully giving into being a Jedi again, through the way he's not using the Force until it was absolutely needed, where Leia fell from the building and he had to catch her at the last second, and that was just so well done. And yet, until the end of the episode, Kenobi still didn't activate his lightsaber, and we still don't get that. But just him finally getting to hear from the third sister in such a uneasy way that makes sense to what they're going for with this plot of Kenobi finally finding out that Anakin is actually alive, because you sometimes forget the details that these characters themselves don't know. Obi-Wan Kenobi not knowing for 10 years that Anakin survived that aftermath, and now the horror that Lord Vader is Anakin Skywalker himself, and Obi-Wan Kenobi finding out that and expressing such a great performance by Ewan McGregor by expressing the horror of what is going on just hit me really strongly, and highly enjoy what exactly they did with all the characters being in the right place, being in the right time, that feels so natural to what you would expect if this was to play out in real life. And that's what I love about this Star Wars show so much thus far, is it really executes the right moments, but showing the power of the dark side and the Inquisitors and the Empire in general, but also getting personal with Ewan McGregor's performance as Obi-Wan Kenobi, his trauma that he's gone through the episode 3 and the events of the loss and failure of Anakin Skywalker, believing he actually died at that moment in Mustafar, and then finally realizing the horror just now that he's gone to, and then having that ending shot of part 2 of episode 1, knowing Darth Vader and seeing Hayden Christensen back as Darth Vader, it just brought so much, and the music was all throughout the episodes. It felt really natural and better scored and just flowed better with the right moments, all in the right times. And overall, just highly enjoyed every beat that this show had to go for. And I really have very little complaints thus far with the first 2 episodes. And while that can change soon in the future, who knows how this plot structure will flow out. Overall, the promising writing and the directing of this show thus far makes me love what we're getting thus far. As a huge Obi-Wan Kenobi fan, the character and Ewan McGregor's acting that I just highly enjoy overall, and I just really hoping that they do it right, because they should know that they are really facing up a tough story that I really think they are really gonna get right, as they have thus far within this show. So that's just my personal spoiler thoughts on Obi-Wan Kenobi. Make sure to comment down below, leave in any spoilers you like down in comments. What's your biggest surprise or takeaway from the show thus far? Do you think the rest of the show will deliver, or will it sort of falter off at some sort of point, not giving as much of the Obi-Wan Kenobi we know? Thank you for watching. Bye for now.